that continuously until I thought, now I understand what is not there. And then Jada Rinpoche came and said it took him 40 years to understand the object of negation. So then we become very humble in this. If it would be easy to understand, then then we would all be awakened and we would never suffer. We would never have any negative emotions, counterproductive emotions. We would not have conflict with each other. We would see ourselves as us. We would be supportive to each other. But now then this dualistic thinking makes I and them, not seeing the connection I have with them, seeing them as totally separate, instinctively. Now that we're talking about this, then we say, yeah, of course I see them as connected. We don't. In order to have I need other. Otherwise I don't have I. Do you realize that? If there would be no other, there would be no I. But it doesn't feel like this instinctively. Of course, I can go alone on top of a mountain, I still have an I. But I need other, no, and it doesn't mean persons, other something, in order to have an I that is not I. I need something that is not I in order to have an I, which is other. Do you realize that I have an I, and I am the only person in this universe who calls myself I? Everybody else calls me you. And I think I'm so bloody important. Isn't that ridiculous? Yeah? And when this I comes up paired with negative emotions, we totally forget the fact that everybody wants to be happy and nobody wants to be harmed. We totally forget. When we start to cherish it, when we start to protect it, and we start to satisfy it, when somebody steals your possessions, it's usually not because they're angry at you, but because they forget that this belongs to somebody, and this somebody will probably suffer if I take away what I wanted to, what I take now. That they will suffer. They forget. Probably, and it might be painful now for some of you, but I need to say it. The biggest form of what is called self-cherishing is sexual abuse. And it's not done out of anger. It's done out of, I need a body now. And totally forgetting the consequences. Totally forgetting that this is not the right object to satisfy the sexual needs now. This is when we become blind, when this I becomes really big. Or killing somebody. That is not conventionally okay to kill. It's conventionally okay to kill mosquitoes, rats, spiders, flies, guinea pigs, hamsters. Is it? Guinea pigs and hamsters? Conventionally? Not okay. Rats, mice? Yes, okay. Where does it stop? Where do we draw the line? This I can kill, this I cannot kill. Some people kill cows. They're quite big. They also suffer. Some people take kids away from their parents. The calves are being taken away from the cows. It's conventionally okay. Nobody is put into prison for that. Is it? Do you see how we have conventions that, as you say, just words. We agree and then it becomes that. But does it make it okay? We make ourselves believe that it's okay. We wear a uniform. We get a gun. We go and kill somebody. We get a medal. We don't have a uniform. We have a gun. We kill somebody. We go to prison. Is it really existing good or bad act? What does it depend upon?
Social norms.
Agreements. You're so right when you say it's just words. But we mistake, then the action becomes really right or really wrong. Again, the other side of the river. Which is the other side?
Can you explain a little more about the conventional I? To make it clear that it's
okay.
not what
The conventional pen is what?
It's a combination of some parts and the label that we put in it.
And the function.
And the function.
Okay? Then we have pen. When these things come together, singing is a very good good example also. In order for singing to come into presence, you need a song, a singer, who is then singing. When these three things come together, then you can say, now let's sing it. Okay? For this pen to come into existence, you need the parts, you need to put them together, and then you need a mind who labels it a pen. The conventional I is that one who is the label for the combination of body and mind that changes moment by moment by moment by moment. And then we have our mistaken view that this I has been put into here somehow, as if the pen is being put into the parts, and then that I is permanent, not changing. You see, we understand that the body is changing, we understand that the mind is changing, but the feeling of I, me, is not changing. Because if it would change, we would have to have now a different I from when you had lunch. It's good that we have a conventional I so that we know who we are. If you lose the conventional I, you don't know who you are anymore. So this is why I keep saying there is an I, but not that one that we think is there. The instinctive feeling of I, now it's okay, now you are just sitting there and you're fine. But then when you see something that you really like, when you see, we said that yesterday, it's also quite interesting to see. When you see something that you're not very interested in, but you see, what did we talk about yesterday? Smell. Okay? When you pass with your car through something, through an area, and it smells of like fertilizer or something like this, like outside Delhi. I don't know if anybody's ever traveled by bus to Dharamsala. Outside Delhi, just outside Delhi, there's these factories which make fertilizers. Wow, it's up there in the summer, and because they don't have air conditioning, maybe they have now in the buses, but the windows are open, and it smells really strong. And then the mind goes bad. And it becomes really bad. Have you smelled it? How does it? It's really bad, isn't it?
It's horrible.
It's horrible.
It's horrible.
If you would be a fly, you would love it. Yeah? Because that's what attracts all these flies that are around these smells. Okay? So then when the mind starts to label really bad, then it's aversion. But a mind can also say bad smell, and that's it, stay totally calm. Especially because you're in the bus and you're passing. But if you live there, your mind gets latched on to this really bad smell, and it can't leave it. It goes there again and again and again and again. Like sometimes in Tuval, I don't know if you noticed, from the chickens. And when the wind came that side, it's like, wow. Yeah, and I could feel that the whole beauty of Tuval was finished because of that smell. Yeah, because I had to sleep there. Okay, so when this I judges that this is kind of it's really good or really bad, and then you project permanence into it, and you project real existence into it. Okay, and then you get aversion. When you then go to an orange grove when it's in the spring and it smells really good, then again it's attachment kind of thing. Not seeing that the good or the bad comes from your mind and not from there outside. But it looks as if the really good and really bad is coming from outside. Do you understand? And we believe it. Even though we say very nicely, the beauty is in the eye of the beholder, or the good smell is in the nose of the beholder, or in the mind of the beholder. See, and then we are carrying with us so many experiences that we haven't really dissolved them into, they don't exist from their own side. We carry them with us as real, true experiences. And even when they're finished, we still carry them with us. Now the word Buddha, so this is why we're trying to understand this, in order to become a Buddha, in order to wake up from this stream of inherent existence, okay? So if you have a bad dream, a nightmare, you wake up, what happens? You still have your heart beating or whatever, but how many of your nightmares do you really remember? You know, like I'm always late, I'm running after trains and planes, then I lose my passport, and or there's a big mess somewhere and I have to clean it up, and then I get angry and all this. I don't have many nice dreams. I'm totally stressed in my dreams. Every time I wake up, I'm really happy that it was just a dream and I don't have to go and clean up the mess. Like last night also, I was dreaming of Lama Zopa, and then a lot of costs, and you know, like all the things that we kind of pull out when the Rinpoches come and all this, and at the end, everybody disappeared. And I was sitting there with all these things to put away. And what I did, there's another friend of mine. What I did, I faked that I was having a very interesting talk with somebody, and so that she would have to go and clean up herself. That's what I dreamt this morning. But I thought, oof, you know, good thing that I'm careful that I'm not going to do this. Yeah. But when you wake up, then the whole emotional thing disappears. It's not pleasant in the dream. I get stressed in the dream. But when I understand it has been created by my mind, it disappears. But while I'm in the dream, it is real. And I go along with it. The Buddha has woken up from this, the world exists out there separate from the mind. That whatever the mind perceives from out there is totally true. They have woken up from it. So they still see good and bad. They still see suffering is not a good thing and we should be happy. But they don't see it as truly independently existing from their own side. They see it has causes. And as long as we don't stop the causes, we will suffer. As long as we don't stop the causes for global warming, we will have global warming. I mean, everybody can see that. We can hope and fear and hope. But if we don't stop the causes, so where do we start? Waiting until everybody else stops? No, we can start with ourselves. Yeah, which is, I think, very much part of a spiritual practice, is to look after the environment. Yeah, so I really ask you to bring your own cup next time when you come. Not to use the paper cups. Because it's not just paper, it's also some kind of wax or something on it. Yeah? Okay? Can we agree with that? You bring your cup next time? And there's no more paper cups, so whoever does not have a cup, no tea. It used to be like this at the teachings of the Dalai Lama. There was tea served in the breaks. You had no cup, no tea, finished. Yeah. Now, with all the tourists, now they distribute plastic cups. What happens? Nobody brings their own cup anymore. Because it's more comfortable. No need to carry it, no need to take it home, you know. We throw it and we think it's out of existence. But it is not. So coming back to the Buddhas, Buddha means awake. So the dream is still happening. It is still real, kind of, but it's not true. So Tsogni Rinpoche has a very nice example because he's frightened of heights. I mean, he shouldn't be frightened of heights because he's from Bhutan, which is in the middle of the mountains. But what to do? This is something carried along from past lives. Also, if you have phobias and you don't know, why would you be afraid of a spider as a human being? Here in Europe, do you have poisonous spiders?
Yes, one.
Yeah? But you don't have these black widows that kind of kill you.
No, we have a small one that can kill you.
You have?
Few
How many people do you know that got killed by spiders? Almost not enough.
I didn't know until they told me now.
Yeah, there you go. Now you're afraid of spiders. But even the poisonous one, you know, you can catch it with a glass or you can throw it out. Or most of the people, what would they do? Attack. Can you imagine the existence of a spider? Wherever you go, they are out to kill you? We don't see the suffering of that spider. We don't see the fear of these insects. They also suffer. We only start to see the fear when it comes down to guinea pigs and then the dogs, cats, whatever we call pets. Before, no, they're objects. Duck, we kill. Cows, chickens, they're objects. We sell them, we earn money, we buy them, we eat them. Like that. So, how did I get to? We're still with the Buddhas, yes? So, so how many, when somebody hurts you, it's finished. But can you drop it the same way as you can drop a nightmare? I had like hundreds of nightmares. I don't remember even, now I remember that one, and I remember another one that I keep telling people, how the mind creates things on the basis of something. Yeah? All the rest I totally forgot. But if somebody is unpleasant to me, then I remember it. And I carry that with me. And we carry this life after life after life. So this is where our reactions come from, that sometimes we don't understand. Because they are all learned. Habits, tendencies, through previous actions. And then we start to see we do have a chance to change. It's not inherently there, our reactions. When we understand why, and this is what psychology is doing. When somebody has claustrophobia, then you start very mildly bringing them to spaces and places where they can feel safe, then they get like this. So what Tsogno Rinpoche was doing, because with the teachings of it appears as real, but it's not true. So he wanted to cross a bridge in Malaysia, which is between two towers, and the bridge, in order to make it adrenaline, it's out of glass. Yeah, like I don't know, how many of you have been to Auckland, New Zealand? No? You should go to New Zealand, it's a very peaceful country. It is. People are very peaceful. It used to be, I don't know how. Anyway, but they have this syringe, they have this very tall tower, and then if you're on top, you can go around, and the bottom is made of glass, so you can look down 300 meters. So for some people it's pleasure. Like me, I love heights. For other people it's like, wow, big suffering. So when you have the fear, that fear feels real, but it's not true, because the fear is telling you it's transparent, you can fall, you cannot fall. So this is what he was telling himself every time the fear came. Because don't neglect these emotions, yeah? Because they create these appearances if it's real. So don't say, no, it's not true and all this. See it, feel it, say, yes, I know you're here, you are real, but what the story you are telling me is not true. And then it needs many times of telling that until you can cross that bridge. And he said, what helped me is to just sit there and see everybody crossing and nobody was falling. This inherent I says, yeah, nobody falls, but I do. All the fears that we have, all the unreasonable fears that are absolutely not helpful in our life comes from this I, because it's afraid, it wants to protect itself. All the suffering comes because of that wrong view. This is why yesterday somebody asked, why is it so important to understand that? Because all the suffering comes from that. You see, when you see somebody who is caught in a nightmare, you do have compassion for that person, don't you? Huh? No?
Yeah.
But you see also that the suffering is totally not necessary, because they're just dreaming. Yeah? But you still want to wake the person up. If you see somebody that is injured, like so-called real, here, now, Because the difference between you and the dreaming person is, the person is dreaming, you are awake. What we call reality, for us, everybody seems to be awake. The same way, when you dream of other people in your dream, they also seem to be awake and living. But they're not even there. Yeah? So when you see somebody who has a real injury, okay? Is your compassion the same as for the one who is dreaming and screaming in their nightmare? Or is it different? Sometimes I'm talking a bit around the corner here, I notice myself. Do you understand what I'm asking?
Yes, it's different.
The sensation of compassion that we have, would it be the same when you see somebody who is in a nightmare and screaming, than somebody screaming from pain because the bone is sticking out here?
It's the same.
Would it be the same level of compassion?
No. It's different.
Would you feel the same? Would your state of mind be the same?
No.
You're not inside the dream. You see somebody dreaming. You see somebody in a nightmare. Okay, you're awake, somebody is sleeping, they scream. You see they have a bad dream. Okay. Do you freak out the same way you freak out when somebody comes and has a bone sticking out?
No.
Why? Why? Why?
Because we know that it's not real, it's only a dream.
Exactly. So that's the difference between us and the Buddha, the awakened one. And the Buddha, the awakened one, was a person just like us. A human being who thought that, why is it that I have this wish to have lasting happiness, this wish to be peaceful, this wish to be free, but I cannot find it anywhere? Why is it that in my life there is birth, which is suffering, sickness, which is suffering, old age, which is suffering, and death? Why is that? So he left his home. And he meditated many, many years with meditation masters, then on his own. He was trying like ascetic practices. He became very thin. He said, that's not the answer. I still haven't found the answer. Why we have this yearning for lasting happiness, and why can we not fulfill it? It's a good question. We all have this yearning for lasting happiness, freedom, peace, isn't it? We all have it. None of us, happiness. I mean, if I ask you, are you happy? And you say yes. If I ask you, can you be happier? What do you think? Then it's yes, so that means you're not happy. And then when asked, so he has attained full awakening. When one asks, what is this? An awakened mind is a mind who sees reality as it is. An awakened mind is a mind who only wants to benefit others, no matter whether they help you or harm you or whatever. An awakened mind is a mind who never ever is happy when somebody suffers, or who will do something to make somebody suffer like long-term on purpose. That is an awakened mind, and that's the only mind that is normal. So we think awakening is something very high up there. It's a mind that is at the height of its normality, not distorting, I'm the center of the universe, not distorting, my happiness is more important than Leora's happiness. Isn't it that when somebody harms you, would you feel that this is normal, that you're getting harmed? You never say, well, it's normal for people to harm. No, this time I'm the victim, it's okay. Do you react like this? Not at all. When we harm somebody else, and I'm not talking about big harm, I'm just talking about maybe ignoring somebody who wants to be with us or something like that. It's normal, it's okay. No big deal, is it? Or is it? Oh, now you get the guilt face again. Don't feel guilty, be logic, okay? It's no big deal. When we are harming somebody, we kind of push it away and maybe bad conscience for a while, but then we forget. Somebody harms us, we never forget. If we don't work with it. Or we forget, but then we see the person, or sometimes we see somebody who looks the same, who talks the same. The whole thing comes up, so we haven't forgotten. We just kind of put it away. I harm somebody else, oh, yeah. So like this. So harming is not normal. It's a mind who has wrong views that my happiness is more important than other people's happiness when I'm not interested in them. That is a mind that is not normal. A mind that sees itself as an individuum in the universe and not as part of the universe. That mind is not normal. Why not normal? Because it doesn't see Ari, the truth. The truth of nothing exists inherently. That is the truth. Everything can be manipulated because it doesn't exist from its own side. Everything that we can think of, speak of, touch, taste, whatever, does not exist from its own side. But it exists. Nobody says it doesn't exist. Just the way of existence, how we see it, is not the way that it exists. Yeah, so it seems easy to understand, isn't it? And then next time, now you go out and your car is gone. Whoa. Yeah, you can't find your car. That I that appears when you can't, where is my car? Would it feel oneness with the body and the mind? Or would it feel separate from the body and the mind? What do you think? Has it ever happened to you? That something got stolen? Where did you feel the pain when something gets stolen? Do you feel pain when something gets stolen?
Yes.
Terrible. Somebody invaded my individual privacy here. Somebody took something from me that I don't want to give. Passport is a very good example. My passport got stolen at one point, and that, it got stolen. So I thought, oh, it was my passport until it got stolen. Now it's not my passport anymore. Even though it's so personal, it has my name, my date of birth, my picture, my fingerprint now, my eye thing also, that these bionic or whatever they call passports. The moment it's gone, it's not mine anymore. If it would be really mine, truly mine, I could not lose it. I would have it, I would be part of it. But while I'm holding it, I think it's really mine. Okay, you didn't ask your question, lady who was going by.
I asked for it and she agreed.
Oh, okay, so she answered it. Okay, good. Okay, anyway, we're finished in like half an hour. If you still want to do a reflection on what we just did, and I used the words of the Dalai Lama, which will be better than mine. It's from this book, and Leora said it's a bit complicated in Hebrew because it's quite a really good Hebrew, so this is why, and it tries to be very exact. In English, I found it very easy. If your English is quite good, then maybe get the English one, and it really goes through all the reasoning that I was trying to do now in these 2 days, in a much better way what I did, of course, and a more organized and more better way. So if you are interested in the whole thing, I think it's one of the best books I've found. How to see yourself as you really are.
And maybe you should know anyway that some books are still available to buy by the website of the Dharma Friends. There are very few, in Hebrew. If you want, it's difficult, but it's worth.
Huh?
It's difficult, but it's worth trying.
Maybe also I found it easy to read and to understand because I only have this since 5-6 years, but I studied Dharma for 30 years. So maybe that's why also I thought, oh wow, this is really the easiest and the best I really found. That could also be a reason, because I already think that I understand. I think that I understand. But I still, you see, understanding would be, it becomes part of my behavior. Yeah? So as I said, we all know now that this separate I, this autonomous I, does not exist. Yet we